G'day guys, how's it going? Bit loud here because I've got the dishwasher going. Yep, got the dishwasher going. But anyways, had a person ask some questions about their kink name. They basically want it to be different. Obviously, they want to keep it um, different from their normal name because they want to keep the lives sort of separate. And they said that they have a name for when they're being submissive, but they want a different name for when they're being, a dominant or a human. Um, yeah, that's the thing though. There's a lot of people who want a lot of different names for different aspects of themselves. So I guess what you've got to really ask yourself is, why do I want another name? Do I want to keep those two aspects completely separate? And then the thing is that there's people that have multiple names for different aspects of themselves. Like they could have a pet aspect, but then they could also have a pet pup aspect, a pet cat aspect, another pet aspect where it's different. They have a baby girl name. They could have a dominant name. They could have a switch name. They could have a submissive name. They could have a toy name. A trainer name, handle name, alpha name, and the list is endless on the amount of names you could have. Having said that, some people feel it's valid that they want to keep them separate and helps them with their headspace to get into what it is that they're doing, their particular scenes, and that's cool. But I guess what they're really wanting to know is putting master or a title in front of a name too pretentious? And I'm like, well, yes and no. It does depend on the circles that you're running in. It does depend on the people, what you're doing, what your shtick is, I guess you could call it that. Um, and it's difficult because if you had someone who was, primarily just a dominant and they just do dominant things, then master or sir or mister whatever is not out of bounds for that. But having said that, you're, I guess one way of putting it, some people say you're a bit of a wanker if you do that, because you shouldn't have to tell people that you are a master, and having that as part of your name can be a bit sort of wanky. But then you know it depends on if someone can carry it off. And I get that it's a whole persona thing, but then there's also, as I said, you could have many different names for many different kinds of personas that you have within the kink world. And yeah, there's others that like to frequently change their names depending on who they're with at the time, or if they're not with anybody, they'll keep changing the names. And it's entirely dependent on what you think it means to you, why you actually want to have different names for different personas or different aspects, or why you want to actually change your name. For some people, it means a lot. For some people, it doesn't. For some people, it was just a funny name that they could remember. Um, Logging on to various kink websites and all that, and they may as well make them all the same. Some people have different names for different websites, which is cool, but gets confusing for me though. And I've been in the kink scene for a while. I find it hard sometimes to remember some people's real names and some people's kink names, and putting faces to names and all that. Because some people really do get dressed up and completely change their whole persona to do, um, to do what they do. So, I don't know, helping with the kink name, is putting master in front of a name too pretentious? I think the title of a master should be pretty self-evident. I don't think you need to have it as part of your name. But then having said that, I've had the same name on my profiles as a lot of for years and years. I haven't changed it. I'm not going to change it. I go by the Rubber Kitty generally in most social circles because that's just developed. But the original name I've had logging onto some websites has pretty much stayed the same. I haven't changed it at all. Some people ask, when are you going to change it? Are you going to change it? I'm like, well, if I change it to the Rubber Kitty, there's actually quite a few Rubber Kitties out there. And I know I'm the Rubber Kitty, but, it's not that big a deal to me. Does the name that I picked originally have meaning? Yes, it does. But it has meaning for me, and that's really all that counts. It can get confusing if you have too many names, though. I will say that. So if you're going to have multiple names, try and make them easy to remember. And don't have too many names. Or if you have a lot of names, maybe dull down on the profiles. I don't know. Depends on how much you want to separate your life. But it can get confusing for yourself and for others. It's not just for others, it's confusing for yourself as well. Particularly if you have a lot of profiles on a lot of different sites. So, anyway. That's about as much as I can get for today, or as much as I can answer for today about names and what you want to name yourself. I mean, if you want to put master in front of it, do. If you want to put lady or mistress or whatever it is you want in front of it, by all means. But again, I said it does depend on the social circles that you're working in, and what you want it to convey, how you want to be, what the persona is that you want to project. Because for some people in certain circles and circumstances, having master as a part of your name is neither here nor there. For other people, it can be wanky. For other people, it is just all a part of it. So anyway, I'll catch you guys later. I've got a zip and do working. So keep calm, stay kinky. Bye.